How do your parents feel about you getting married to a Japanese man and living in Japan and having a family? What helped you learn Japanese? Do you find that other Japanese mothers judge you? My parents, they are very supportive of me and they are happy if I'm happy. So, I mean, of course it was hard. It was hard to not see their daughter and to not be like there with me when I was pregnant, but they are still very supportive of me. What helped you learn Japanese? I went to college and studied Japanese, but honestly the best way to learn Japanese is to just force yourself to make Japanese friends and don't let yourself speak English around them and don't let them speak English to you. That's the best way to learn. Did you find other Japanese mothers judge you? I wouldn't say they judge me. They're more so curious about me and about what I do in my household, what things I cook, what role my husband has, and what I feed Ellie, and all those things, where I get her clothes. They're not judgmental, they're more so curious. Eat some chicken, please. I hear foreigners get a lot of attention and curious stares when in Japan. Have you experienced this? If so, what's the strangest instance in which this happened to you? Yeah, I get lots of stares, but I think that people stare at me less now that when I'm with my family, because they probably think it's rude and inconsiderate. But yeah, I get stares, but I am so used to it now that I don't even notice. Ellie gets more attention than me because she's cute. So old grandmas, like, you know, I get talked to like 3 times before I go to the grocery store. Like, I have to like weave in and out of alleyways to avoid grandmas because they just want to pinch her cheeks and, oh, she's so cute. Like, people will stop riding their bike to like talk to her. Like, Ellie gets so much attention. What's the strangest instance in which this happened to you? Maybe only a couple times, like, have I gotten some weird, like, racist comment towards me. And that was generally some really old person. Like, in America we have people like that too. I think one time I was taking a train somewhere and I was at the station and sat down, and some guy, old man next to me, was like, "Do you know about Pearl Harbor?" Or what did he ask me? "Do you know about Hiroshima and Pearl Harbor and all this stuff?" And it was kind of in a not gentle way. Like, I feel like he was probing me to see like what my opinions were on all that, but you just gotta let it go. I mean, people are gonna be like that wherever you go. But not a big deal for me. I've only, like I said, only experienced that a couple times. What is the process like getting a spousal visa after marriage? Okay, this is a really hard process and I can't possibly explain it now in this video, but I'm going to put some links down below on how to get your spousal visa. First thing you should do is you can check out these links and call the Immigration Bureau. I don't know how to pronounce that. Call them, the one nearest you, and ask them if they should have some English speaking assistance. Maybe not. But just read these links and you're going to have to go there and you're going to have to fill out all these papers, and oh my god, it's a pain in the neck. Sorry. Is your family worried about you and your family because of the situation in Japan concerning the power plant accident? Yes, they are. And I am too. I have to be really careful about produce that I buy. I have heard that Japanese faces do more similar to us Westerners. I don't know what you're trying to ask me, I'm sorry. Would you and your husband ever consider moving to the States? I already answered that, yes, we would. Are you planning to make more Japan fun fact? Yes, I'm thinking up some more ideas. I actually have an idea for my next Japan fun fact, but I don't have time to make it right now. I've been looking for strollers to buy online lately, and I found some made in Japan since I'm sure you used one when Ellie was little. What do you think about the quality of Japanese strollers? I personally only know the stroller that I have, which is it's called Kombi or something like that, and I don't like it. It's crappily made, it's janky, it's hard to fold up, and it's cheap plastic. Like, and I spent a lot of money on it. Like, it's got cute fabric, but that's about it. I never used it because Japanese supermarkets are so small that it was hard to maneuver. I know that there are nice Japanese strollers, I've seen them, but they're going to be really expensive. I would recommend you buy an American stroller, or buy a European stroller or whatever, but I don't really recommend Japanese strollers. The stroller I use all the time is one that my mom bought for me at Babies R Us, and it's called the B-type stroller, which means it's for a toddler, and I love that thing. An umbrella stroller, folds up, easy, light, just don't waste your money on a stroller. Get one of those things that you can hold the baby with, like this waistband. That I recommend more than anything. Can I send a birthday present to Ellie? I'm sorry, but we're not really comfortable with that, but thank you for the thought. What are your favorite things about being a stay-at-home wife and mom, spending time with Ellie? Hands down. Were you interested in Japan before meeting your husband? How long have you lived in Japan? Yeah, I was interested in Japan before meeting my husband. I was interested because actually my ex-boyfriend had lived in Japan for a while, and he spoke Japanese, and so he kind of like taught me some Japanese, and then from there I like started researching about Japan, and I got really into it myself. And then I took a class, like dual enrollment. High school doesn't offer a class. They have to pay for you to take it at college. Yeah, I wanted to take Japanese, and my high school didn't offer it, so I took it at a college, my junior year in high school and senior year. And then after that I went to study abroad for a month in Japan because I got really into it. And that's when I met my husband. If you had Ellie in Japan, what do you think were the advantages and disadvantages of having parental care and giving birth in a Japanese hospital? Is it scary giving birth in another country? Okay, so I really want to do a video all about this, just on this topic, because I'm really into it. I'm really pro natural birth. And okay, to answer your question briefly, I loved giving birth in Japan. I know that some hospitals in Japan have disadvantages like separation from the baby. After birth, they keep it in a separate nursery from the mother unless the baby needs to eat, when then they bring the baby to you. Visiting hours are kind of tight and hard to like have visitors and such things like that. But actually I was really happy with my hospital. I had like a foreign type hospital. It was called St. Barnabas Hospital, and they had a 24-hour breastfeeding assistance room, optional nursery for the baby or in room with you, all natural hospital. All the nurses on there in the hospital are trained midwives. And so a midwife delivered my baby, and the doctor just came in after and did some work after. And like, that was the best. I loved that. She took control, but not too much control. She let me just naturally have my baby basically on my own. She was just there to like assist me, and that, I loved that so much. And I definitely want to have a natural delivery in Japan again if I ever have more kids here. Barely any people in Japan get epidurals, which I also support because I think that it's better to go natural. It wasn't scary for me giving birth in Japan. It's just scary giving birth in general. And healthcare is amazing here. Covered a huge portion of our bill, and we chose an expensive hospital, which is the only reason why it didn't cover all of it. What did you major in, and when Ellie is grown up, do you want to get a job or do you have a part-time right now? I already talked about getting a job. I would like to get a job around the time that she's 2. I majored in East Asian language and culture with a specification in Japanese, but I think they just changed the major name to Japanese. And I'm graduating in June. And yes, it's a bachelor's degree. How do your parents react about everything? Okay, so I answered the reaction to living in Japan, but the reaction to being pregnant, I'll answer that now. I always loved kids. Like, I've been babysitting my whole life since I was like 10. And like, I'm really great with kids. I knew how to take care of babies, so they weren't like really worried about that, but they were like, well, what are you gonna do? They weren't like freaking out. They were a little bit shocked, but I told them that I had a plan, that I'd called my college. I asked them if I could finish online, and they said I probably could. So I lined that up first, and then when I told my parents, I said, this is my plan. I want to have my baby. I'm going to finish college online. And then after the initial shock was over, then they were really happy for me. I mean, come on. How can your parents not be happy about having a grandchild? So why did you want to go to Japan in the first place? I already answered that question. Do you have Facebook? I do, but I don't give it out unless I like personally know you. If you and your husband had a fight, how do you solve it when both of you don't speak the language? I know you're fluent, but I know that there are some words that you don't know. I don't think there's really anything special about the way that we fight, or anything that separates us from other people of the same culture fighting. And sometimes I have a hard time explaining myself, especially if I'm like emotionally worked up. But nothing really special about the way that we solve it. Have you been in school, a school festival? Worn a kimono? I wasn't in a school festival, but I went to a school festival for my college. I wore a yukata for a summer matsuri festival, but it wasn't a kimono, it was just a matsuri. Well, he's done eating lunch. Can you say gochisousama deshita? So I'm going to answer some more questions later.